So why are architects necessary? Well, we've talked a little bit about the common concepts as to why it makes sense. Like, it just is the right thing to do. But legislative directives forced a lot of the federal government into doing this. And actually in 1996, the Clear-Cohen Act was decreed, and the reason it took a lot of, because in the 80s and 90s, organizations, industry was merging and pulling together, and they created a job called a CIO. But the federal government didn't have CIOs for their agencies. They just had people doing IT in a department, many times still in the business function or, a separate IT department, but normally just reported up to the agency head and didn't really was looked at almost as a support service, just like the mail room was to the organization. It was just another support service for the organization. So this directed that all federal agencies established a comprehensive approach to managing acquisition, use, and disposal of information technology. Now, the importance of this planning was the recognition that they were dumping millions and billions of dollars into technology, but they didn't really see where they were getting the savings from. So the Office Management Budget developed Circular A-130, Management of Federal Information Resources in '93, that required government agencies to develop and use enterprise architecture, also using the architectures as grading criteria for budget submissions. So they actually utilized, if you had the active architecture in place and are managing it to decide and make decisions, it was used to support the Circular A-130. And then the Reagan Act was the National Defense Act, FY05. DoD required certification before obligating funds for defense business system modernizations larger than $1 million. Now, DoD directives, the JSIDs, pointed out the key components of the CDD and the CPD are the integrated architecture products that ensure the Department of Defense, one's a design document, understands the linkages between capabilities and systems and can make appropriate acquisition decisions. So here, this document being the a design document for a major system would place some emphasis on this particular organization. Now, the Defense Acquisition System, DoD 5000.1, integrated architectures are the basis for roadmaps to conduct capability assessments, guide systems development, and define associated investment plans. So another interesting technology move at this time was the move towards integrated architectures. So the concept here was that we want to start connecting the dots across different systems. And the old way of doing that wasn't working real well. And so in order to have these systems, we wanted to look at how we could share systems and get basically more bang for your buck. So you build one system instead of 4 systems that do the same thing, and you then cross-share them amongst the 4 different organizations. So similar to the whole idea of pulling resources, such as even your in an IT world, taking a database and procuring one large data center instead of having multiple data centers, pulling them all together, but then having pieces of that shared by different organizations. Similarly, this concept of being able to build a roadmap to these capability assessments, and then investment plans can be built off of those. So this became, the whole idea of the enterprise architecture became a major planning tool in being able to determine how we're going to get these large systems moving forward. Just like a large skyscraper would be virtually impossible to build, even with the most educated and experienced individuals at their trade pulled together and a best project manager in the world, without the architect, without having an architect that has laid out those elements that need to go in. So the same thing was found to be needed as the maturity of the software engineering as well as computer systems mature industry developed.